I'm Stephen Monteith, and I'm here to recommend some presidential movies and TV shows. American politics is it's pretty much always on everyone's minds. It's getting even more so the closer we get to the presidential election in November. But these are some shows and movies that I think are that while they're ostensibly about politics and about the president, they're much more lighthearted than politics usually are. There are some serious moments in them, but there's also a lot of humor and a lot of character moments and whatnot, and especially in this first movie, which is called Dave. It stars Kevin Kline as a man named Dave, who just so happens to look exactly like the president, and he decides to parlay that into a couple of acting gigs, and that attracts the eye of the Secret Service, who want to hire him to be a body double for the president. Just to sort of, be there, for the cameras kind of thing. But when the president ends up having a stroke, Dave has to take over for a lot longer than he originally bargained for. And there's some good comedic moments. There's some good, like for example, Charles Grodin plays Dave's friend, who when he finds out what has happened to Dave, he just freaks out about it completely. And anyway, it's one of my favorite movies. It's on Hulu. You can watch it there. You can also watch The American President there, which is a movie starring Michael Douglas as the American president, who's a widower, and he meets Annette Bening's character and asks her out, and they start having a relationship with each other. And this movie gets a little bit more into politics than Dave does, but I still wouldn't call it a political movie. This is more like a rom-com, actually. It has a lot of rom-com tropes, like how Michael Douglas and Annette Bening's characters meet is just completely cringeworthy. but it's so funny. The movie is a lot more about their romance and about the difficulties that you might imagine when a president starts dating somebody. It doesn't, like I say, it doesn't get away from politics entirely, though. There are some moments where the president's job is directly what's getting in the way, so obviously they have to get into some kind of politics. But it's all very cleverly written. It's written by Aaron Sorkin, actually, and of course, a lot of people consider it a dry run for The West Wing, which came out just a couple of years after this movie did, and I already recommended The West Wing when I did the 4th of July episode of this, but I'm going to recommend it again just because it is all politics aside, that is a show that's more about the characters themselves. And while it is pretty comedic and pretty lighthearted at times, it can be it has a lot of deep character moments as well, especially during the second and third season. We start exploring more about the characters' backgrounds and their relationships with each other. And the fourth season is where they get more into the president's re-election storyline. And you can watch that one on Netflix. Or if you want a more cynical political show, Veep is on HBO. It's got a few seasons. This is a dark satirical comedy about Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who plays the vice president of the United States, Selena Meyer, and her staff, and their various ambitions and dysfunctions. It was created by Armando Iannucci, who did The Thick of It. It's a British a show about British politics, and that one was a very darkly comical show, and Veep is very much in the style of that. It's not quite so lighthearted, despite being a comedy. There is a lot more adult elements to it, but it does have that biting humor that you would expect from the man who gave us Malcolm Tucker. So yeah, those are the four that I'm going to recommend, and hopefully they can keep you entertained, no matter what your personal politics may be. You'll find plenty to laugh at and plenty to cry at, I think, in all of these. Okay, that's all I've got for today. Be sure to tune into my podcast, Stephen Talks. Tuesdays are when I mostly talk about politics in the real world, and Thursdays are when I mostly talk about entertainment topics. It's available on all podcast platforms. I've also got my original fiction, which is available on all ebook platforms, and of course my other videos here on YouTube. Be sure to rate and review anything you read and or listen to and or watch, and I will talk to you later. Thank you for watching.